cleanliness, they say, is next to godliness, and that's the reason why we, the inhabitants of this planet, and the people of Anambra and the residents of Anambra State will do everything possible in our power to make our environment very clean and safe for us and for the next generation. Welcome to Health Diary with Nonye Soludo. And today I will be talking about our environment with our Honorable Commissioner for Environment, Engineer Felix Odumegwu. So you're welcome, Engineer Felix. You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Engineer
Thank
Felix.
you, Mommy. Thank you.
Yes. Engineer Felix, you have been the Commissioner for Environment for almost a year now, over a year. What has been your experience when it comes to environmental hygiene? But before you go into that, can you explain to our viewers what is environmental hygiene?
Yes, thank you, Mommy. Mama Nambra, thank you for this wonderful program that you're doing. You know, I always say that a healthy state is a productive state, and you're championing that vigorously in Anambra State to produce a very healthy workforce and a very productive state for our dear government.
Wonderful.
Yes, it's been a whole new, wholesome experience, you know, working as a commissioner and helping the governor to impact positively on the environment. Yes, hygiene is what you might say are conditions or practices that one does towards having or maintaining good, healthy habits. You know, maintaining a very clean environment so as to prevent diseases from spreading. You know, personal hygiene is what one does for himself, you know, to create that environment of cleanliness, that environment of sanitation, you know, which enables the person to operate in a very healthy condition. And then when you now take it further to environmental hygiene, you know, it is those practices that individuals now do collectively, you know, that ensures that the environment is kept in a very hygienic, a very clean and healthy way. So for environmental hygiene, it is more or less like keeping the environment in that good sanitary condition, you know, so as to prevent the spread of diseases and help the people maintain a very healthy lifestyle.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much for the answer. I know you've really touched on my next question. You touched a bit on it, but I would say ask you, what are the hazards of poor environmental hygiene? Because, you know, a lot of people, you know, they are more of personal hygiene than environmental hygiene. So what are the hazards of poor environmental hygiene?
For us in the Ministry of Environment, you know, we have this department we call the Department of Environmental Health and Pollution Control. So what essentially we do there is to try as much as possible to put up practices, you know, followed by obedience or adherence to the law that will help to prevent diseases, you know, or sort of prevent people from falling sick as a result of man-made activities, you know. So for what not really adhering to hygiene does is that One, you could get sick.
Yeah.
We understand that for 1 gram of fecal waste, that is not properly disposed of, has in it over 1 million bacteria and viruses, such that could easily cause diarrhea and other waterborne diseases, which eventually could lead to death of children and a whole lot of youthful generation. So that in itself, it's a hazard. So not properly maintaining a good environmental hygiene would lead to this level of disease outbreaks. And that also will affect the workforce. Just like I said, a healthy state brings about a productive state. But when people who are supposed to be productive are now being kept in the hospitals, attending to disease outbreaks that occurred as a result of poor hygiene, the workforce and productivity is reduced. So it affects productivity. So there is an economic disadvantage and there is health disadvantage. So environmental hygiene is key to promoting productivity by and large.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much. That's very, very true. So true. Okay, as the man in charge of our environment in Anambra State, what do you have to say to our viewers about, number 1, waste management, number 2, proper waste disposal methods, number 3, recycling and reducing waste generation?
Yes, that's waste management. All of them are had a broader name called waste management.
Waste management, that's it.
Now, you can't really do proper hygiene if the waste are not properly managed. The waste costs litter, and they are nuisance.
That's it.
They become nuisance, and they become breeding places for mosquitoes,
everything,
and disease-causing organisms. So it's important that the wastes are managed properly. Now, for the ministry, we're taking waste management to another level. First and foremost, we understand the fact that the state must be clean and green.
Yes.
And the governor has launched a program called Clean, Green and Sustainable Anambra State, which is actually what I'm wearing here.
Yeah.
The state has to be clean, green and sustainable. And then the other part of what I'm wearing is that everybody becomes a participator, not just a spectator. So the first line charge there is that everybody has to become aware that the state has to be clean and green because of the health benefits of maintaining a clean and green state. That's number 1. Then number 2, I think the waste must be properly managed. First and foremost, it has to be properly disposed, taken off from the area of waste generation, probably to the dump sites. Then what you just read out, the other aspects of it, where we talked about recycling and composting.
Yes.
Now, it is very key that we understand that something must definitely happen to that waste, not just taking the waste to the dump site. If the plastics, which in itself constitutes a bigger nuisance, most times you see these plastics on our drainages, blocking our drainages. You see them being littered all over the place, and then they constitute this high level of nuisance. The plastics need to be recycled. So the ministry is promoting what we call circular economy. First and foremost, the waste has to be reduced from source. Reducing the waste from source. Any single-use item of plastic should be avoided. In circular economy, we'll try to make sure that the material is put in use for a longer period, not just a single use and then thrown away. Put in use for a longer period. Reducing the waste from source, repurposing the use of that material, not just discarding it at any given point in time.
Okay.
And then recycling the material. So that at the end of its former life, it begins another life, another product.
Right.
So all the plastics that you see can be recycled and be used to produce another product. So instead of that plastic becoming just a waste material, it becomes something of value for another product. So it becomes a resource material for another product. Instead of finding it in our drainages, causing nuisances here and there, they can be recycled. Then the other part is repurposing the use of that waste.
Okay.
If the waste plastics are taken off and recycled, and the aluminum cans are taken off and recycled, and then the biodegradables are taken off and used as compost. So the waste now that we now see that will be left will be almost zero or minimal waste.
Very minimal.
Biodegradables made into compost, put in our farms for regenerative agriculture. The plastics are recycled into other beautiful products. We have factories in Anambra State as of today that recycles plastics into women weave-ons, into t-shirts, and other useful products.
Wonderful.
In fact, in Chikasin factory, they recycle plastics into their container for putting oil. So they end up buying up these plastics. So in the ministry, what we've ended up doing is, giving support, to recycling, such that we encourage individuals to now pick up these plastics and then take them to these companies where they have established recycling banks. So the plastics are now, exchanged for money.
Wow.
And in doing this, we launched the All Anambra State Community Plastic Pickup a few months ago, where we encourage all communities to participate in plastic pickups. One thing that we have achieved in doing that is that many plastics were picked out of the streets, out of the gutters, and then we sent in our team, to go and weigh these plastics that were collected in those communities. We've done this for about 2 months now, and what we weighed for this past 2 months was over 10,000 tons of plastic.
Wow.
That were picked out of the environment, and then the people who picked them, the companies who picked them, weighed them, and then the waste off-takers, recyclers off-takers, paid them instantly.
That's
so
great.
those women, village women who were involved in this, got paid, got incentives for picking up plastics. So we created a situation where the waste management became sustainable because the individuals, the citizens participated in it, the communities keyed into it, and then state becomes cleaner, and then the people involved get incentives. You understand? So
this is awesome.
So this is promoting the circular economy that we're talking about. Taking waste from the level of just picking up and taking a dump site to the level of waste to wealth. Where the citizens participate and they get something out of it. Where they participate. So for waste management, we're ensuring that the environment is cleaner. Well, the Soludo mission came in last year. Everywhere in the state was littered. In some places we had refuse dumps as high as almost 2-story building. The state was literally, filthy. So the governor, embarked on state of emergency on waste management, declared an emergency on waste management. And then these heavy dumps that we saw everywhere got reduced and taken off. The state is cleaner now.
Yes.
And we're now taking it to the next stage, where the people themselves become sustainably involved in waste management, whereby they pick up these plastics and they get weighed and they get paid and they continue picking up plastics. So in that aspect, we are getting citizens involved in waste management also sustainably.
Wow, wow, this is awesome. It's like music to my ears to hear this, because waste to wealth now individuals can contribute to, cleaning up and maintaining cleaner environment.
Yes.
When you know that when you pick all this, you go somewhere, they weigh it and give you money.
Yes.
What else? So this is awesome. Thank you so much for this. Thank you so much for this.
Yeah, and also we've encouraged setting up recycling hubs. We have in Oka region we have like 2.
Okay.
In Oka region now where you can actually take these plastics and then you get paid for it.
Okay, in Oka here.
Yes, at Amansi there's one hub where when you bring your plastics there,
yes,
they score you points.
Wow.
So at the end of the day, when you meet a certain point, you collect an item, maybe a refrigerator or a generator, or you can even open an account where it's converted to money for you. At Nnewi, we have a recycling bank. You take it there, you get paid for the plastic. And this is what we are driving across the land, so that everybody would become involved.
Yes.
Instead of throwing away that plastic bottle, which I must have to state it here. A plastic bottle takes over 400 years to decay, to decompose. So if something does not happen to it, that one that you saw when you were small, when you were like baby. 2 years old
exactly.
or 4 years old, you will still get to meet when you're 70 years old.
Exactly.
And the more they are being produced and they are not taken, they are not gotten rid of, they will still be packing there waiting for someone to deal with them. And at the end of the day, they end up blocking drainages.
Everywhere.
And what does it do? When they block drainages, flooding occurs.
Yes.
And when flooding occurs, people's lives and properties are lost. And then erosion occurs.
Yeah.
And we know that Anambra has a peculiar terrain. Easily, our topsoil gets washed off.
Yeah.
By rainwater, stormwater. So what we must do in Anambra State is, look at prevention.
Yeah.
You understand what we must do to prevent these things from occurring, because it will take a lot of money to handle them when they actually happen. So when we now take out these plastics off our drainages, the drainages become free. Then when flood water comes, instead of causing devastation, it just flows down to the stream. And then the erosions are reduced, because we're not preventing these things from occurring. Okay, so it's pertinent that it's encouraged. And at the long run, the state gets cleaner. While the people are happy because they're also getting incentives.
Making money and making incentives. There's a lot of incentives out there. Wow, this is wonderful. No, our viewers, you can see, if you can pick up whatever you can see around you, you can always make money from them and get a lot of things. Please, we would like to know, maybe I'll take it from you later, the places they can go to exchange all these waste to money, to wealth. Yeah, our viewers will really love to have them, because
in addition to that, about 2 weeks ago, an NGO came and led by Professor Kunna. They came and they were promoting this trash to health.
Okay.
Trash for health.
Yes.
When they came, I was like, this is what we're doing. So instead of now money, you now exchange the trash and then provide health.
Yeah.
And this is healthy living with Nonye Soludo.
Yes.
And it's important to note that I equally told them that what we will do now is that if this trash are now paid for, then the money that was paid for should be used to register people for insurance, Anambra insurance scheme.
Yes.
So that people can now benefit from healthcare using their trash.
Using
their trash.
Yeah.
So it's instead of throwing it either way, it's something of value which can buy health for them at the hospital. So it's part of the program that we're also
wonderful
pushing.
This is awesome. Thank you so much, Honorable Commissioner, for all you're doing. This is so good. And that brings me to another question. What innovative technologies or solutions are emerging to address these environmental hygiene challenges to reduce pollution?
Okay. Like I said, the ministry has a department, the Environmental Health Office.
Okay.
It's a profession, that is aimed at trying to reduce the number of people that find their way to the hospitals.
Yes.
And I always say that when you eat healthy and you maintain a clean, healthy environment, you've actually given yourself primary health. And then you keep yourself from going to hospitals where Dr. Afam will not treat them. So what we're doing is preventing people from getting to Afam to treat them.
Yes.
I know Afam will not like this, but this is what we are doing in environmental health. We are involved in preventive medicine.
Yes.
So for technology, there's an app we want to deploy. And that app would get the citizens to be involved, where they look at the app, they indicate that they have waste that needs to be collected. Then the off-takers would see it from the app on their own end, and then they now connect.
Oh, wow.
They now connect with the person who wants to dispose of that plastic. The off-taker now connects and then goes immediately to pick them. That's on the go. You don't have to go too far.
Yeah.
Deploying that app, you just key in, and then the next person that is supposed to pick it up now gets to connect.
Yeah.
And then the information is always there on the social media.
Yes.
What we're doing on social media. So that anybody that wants information can now easily see that this is possible. That you can actually get this from waste, you can get that from waste, and you can dispose your waste easily, having to know that there are schedules for waste pickups.
Oh, wonderful. That's great to hear. Wow, a lot is really happening in our environment, in the ministry. Well done. And again, what role do industries and businesses play in ensuring sustainable waste management practice and reducing their ecological footprint?
Yes, a lot. Every human activity, as long as it's an activity of human being, generate waste. In the houses, you understand, you generate domestic waste.
Yeah.
In the industries, you generate industrial waste.
Yeah.
And most times, some of those wastes that come from industries are toxic. And they have high impact on the environment.
Yeah.
So what we've also done, like last year at the end of year meeting of MAN, I decided to visit them, and I presented a speech. A lecture to them on circular economy, where probably maybe if they didn't know, we try to let them know that they must have waste management plan in their course of work. You understand? They must have that plan and stated that this is their waste management plan. This is their environmental sustainability plan. First and foremost, they must also try to drive circular economy in their work, in their production, so that they produce minimal waste. For them to produce minimal waste, it also helps them, you understand, to be economically viable. Because when you reduce the waste that comes out from your raw materials, it means that you're making almost 90 to 100% use of the raw materials you put in.
Yeah.
So that way, it helps the company. Instead of having waste, you're now reducing the waste from your production process, and then whichever waste that you now have produced must be properly disposed. We wouldn't like a situation whereby a company produces waste and then they bring out a pipe outside of their industries and then it's going to the environment and causing devastation. So we are seriously on the industries, ensuring that they maintain a proper environmental sanitation and sustainable plan.
Well, thank you. Thank you. So how can we strike a balance between the public health concern and environmental conservation while addressing issues like single-use practice and sanitation?
Yes, thank you, Ma. Reducing waste from source equally involves us knowing that instead of going to a grocery store and having everything you buy put in a nylon, you could have so many items, you understand, like put them in a nylon that you would also dispose of.
Exactly.
So what we preach or what we try to disseminate is for people to understand that you have to really think on practices that you do.
That's it.
Instead of going to buy something that you spend money to dispose, you now try to do something different. You understand? Right. For example, it's not just about waste. You could easily say, okay, probably you want to go to church, and then your neighbor wants to go to the same church, and then the other person wants to go to the same church. And you know that each vehicle that moves on the street emits pollution. And then you can easily say, instead of 5 vehicles from the same area going to the same church, you now decide to use one. Everybody now enters one. So the vehicle has taken every one of you to church. Instead of each person, one person inside the vehicle going to. So you reduce pollution by so doing. So likewise, when you go to a grocery store, instead of demanding for them to put these things in nylon bags that you easily want to dispose of, you understand? You look for an alternative. You understand? So that way, you're reducing the waste from source. You're reducing what you would have spent money to also dispose. Do you understand? So single-use plastics, single-use items should actually be de-emphasized.
Yes.
Instead of going to work and always picking water, you get your flask and then you put your water inside.
Water bottle,
so you can use it over and over again. Because if you use single use, you're actually increasing the number of waste that comes out on the street. And if there is no proper waste evacuation, that thing becomes a litter somewhere. And it causes a problem. So the balance is the fact that people ought to be made aware. They ought to know, with this your program now, and we are spreading this message that activities or inactions of man can cause a problem.
Can cause big
so
problem.
The proper activity, proper information or action should be meted so that you can reduce pollution and reduce waste, and thereby reduce the spread of diseases.
Wonderful. Much. So viewers, we are encouraging you, every family to have reusable bags for shopping, and always keep bags in your cars, in the boot, just in case you want to pop into a shop to buy something. Open your boot and take a bag and put it back there, so that it reduces buying all these polythene bags and dropping it everywhere to block and litter and cause havoc. Always go for shopping with your reusable bag. Invest on good reusable bag for shopping, so that will really help. And there's another thing when you talked about the cars, using one car for the environment. Another thing I promote is us going back to cycling. Honestly,
Perfect.
Going back to cycling, it helps. it's very good it's a good exercise.
Yes.
And at the same time, it's very good for the environment and so on. So I am begging the government, every federal, state government, when we are doing roads, to consider now
pedestrian walkways,
cycling ways.
Yeah.
So it's something I really encourage. I love cycling.
Yeah.
I love it. And it's something that will really help the environment.
Yes, that's part of reducing the waste from source.
Yes.
You understand? Because instead of a place that you could easily get to within 1 kilometer using your leg or using cycling, instead of entering your car and emitting emission, you could easily walk there.
Walk down there.
Or you cycle there.
Yes.
That way you're also keeping fit.
Keeping fit, exactly.
Maintaining your own personal health. At the same time helping to save the environment.
That's it. What are some of the things individuals need to do to help in this erosion problem? Because we know it's one big problem in our state.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. First, what we did was to look at the laws, and to see what we can do with the laws that would make the people, key into environmental sustainability.
Yeah.
And then we've tinkered with that, making provisions in the law that from now onwards, every design for buildings would inculcate the provision of catchment pits.
Okay.
Or what we call sump.
Yeah.
Or in Igbo we call ome.
Ome, very important.
Because we've actually discovered that our topsoil easily gets washed away.
Yeah.
And once storm water gathers on the road, it causes erosion. It causes flooding, which in turn causes erosion. So, but if the water is harvested and sinks down inside the compound, it has less environmental impact on the outside.
Yes.
Therefore, you now have less forceful flood that will create washing away of the topsoil. So, for citizens now, you understand, it is very imperative that every household must make provision for a sump, or catchment pit, or ome built in their houses.
Wonderful.
So as to have the water drained right there inside.
Yes.
And then in the designs also, the era of paving the entire compound, you understand, is being de-emphasized. Every household must provide for green area.
Yeah.
One is that the green area or vegetation helps to maintain a good ecosystem, giving you fresh air.
Yeah.
At the same time, it forms a grip on the soil. The water gets drained there, and then you have a beautiful,
very beautiful
environment.
Yeah.
So every household will have a green area, and then they will provide for a sump in their area. And then secondly, the individuals also, in the law, it's provided that every household must provide for a drainage in front of their house.
Okay.
The drainage in front of that, and then maintain that drainage to be free of encumbrance. That's provided in the law. And this is what the people themselves will do by themselves.
Lovely.
You understand? So you don't need government to help them maintain that free
in front of
unencumbered drainage. First and foremost, they must have a drainage, and then the drainage must be free of encumbrance.
Okay.
This is a citizen participation move. It is now them that will do this, because if anything happens, if erosion happens, it may not affect the government at all.
Exactly.
It is the people there that gets first affected. They're the first victims. So they must be participatory in also helping to provide for environmental sustainability.
Yeah.
Then also, the provision for tree planting. The governor launched tree planting campaign last year, where he promoted 1 million trees to be planted every year in Anambra State. And he started by donating thousands and thousands of seedlings, coconut seedlings, palm seedlings, for them to be planted in our houses. So if that is being done. So what we're encouraging is that every household must plant at least 2 trees a year to help to form a grip in the soil. Now, it's not too hard for any citizen to provide a tree or a seedling for them to plant in their house. Now, governor is helping out to donate these tree seedlings that one will also help the families to be economically viable and sustainable, and at the same time help the environment in having a grip on our soil to prevent further gully erosion. So these are things that citizens must also do. Then also, every household should provide for waste bins.
Yes.
It will help the evacuation process of waste from the point of generation to probably where it's been disposed.
Yes.
It is imperative that each household must have a waste bin, because we found out that for a family of 6, who have acquired a 240-liter waste bin, it will take like up to 10 days for that waste to be filled up.
Okay.
And within that 10 days, before it gets filled up, the waste evacuators must have come to pick them up.
Exactly.
So at any given point in time that they come to pick them up, within maybe probably they come 2 times a week or 3 times a week, it doesn't get filled up. It doesn't get to overflowing.
Yes.
So that will prevent all those small ways that you see people come to drop on the street.
Exactly.
Because what people actually do is that everyone comes, packs one small bag, and then takes it to the street.
Yeah.
And then the other person now comes, packs one small bag,
Yeah.
and takes to the street. So if the evacuator now plans to come once a day, he may actually plan to come in the morning. And before evening, 1 or 2 people, 3 or 4 other families have got small bags.
Exactly.
But if those households have a bin,
bin,
instead of bringing that small bag there, they put it in the bin. And it gets held there for at least 10 days, within which the evacuator now comes to pick them up.
Pick them up.
So this will help to ensure a cleaner environment, because no longer you will see people dumping. On the streets.
Wonderful.
So these are things that citizens will imbibe and do, and then Anambra gets better and cleaner and more healthy.
Oh, wonderful. So viewers, you've heard that. Wow, thank you so much. And I think we've done justice to this topic. Thank you for enlightening us and the viewers, and I hope we'll change. Our viewers will really change for the better, because the environment, we really need to keep the environment clean, as you said, for our health. And so because when you combine what we eat and a clean environment, we are good to go. That's primary health.
Yes.
That's primary health. So thank you so much for coming, Honorable Commissioner.
Yes.
And thank you.
I must also thank you, ma.
Thank you.
What you're driving with healthy living with Nonye is impactful.
Thank you.
People may not see the empirical advantage, but at the long run, you will see a productive state. Very healthy, vibrant, youthful state.
Thank you.
Who are fit for purpose,
Yes.
and who are doing so well because they are healthy.
Yeah.
In fact, when majority of the workforce are in the hospital, production is reduced.
It's reduced
So
drastically.
What you are driving, one, it is godly, it is promotional, and it will help the state to have good productivity.
Thank you very much.
We thank you, because we know that
Thank
economically the state will improve.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Thank
We're
you
inspired.
so
I'm
much.
motivated. Thank you.
Good to have you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.